Oh, my movie actually number one sports station happy 98.9 FM in our face to ETV Ghana Award of Quality Entertainment. If I'm here, Bampo bring away the second edition of Happy Sports Dialogue. We the World Cup series. The attendant say World Cup here koi Ghana Kobe na ya hwekwa betumi afaso ama ya Black Stars of Ghana etimi aya there in this competition. Don't forget, say in 2010 you could do the quarterfinals na between yen and the semi-final. Penalty pair and see in Temwa, ya the BCC ye intimi unqualified. Nay, as some other FIFA intimi was say the Hunjanisu or Debia or so that ye, the young uncle. You know, ya, but a besan could be ye koi, ye bumpire say, ye beya the semi-final and ye PC druno, ye call our cocoa draw. And a question ye bisa, oh, Jumedian is Ghana Black Stars, ye ready for the World Cup and I say ready. One Casawa Dreamo, and if a team no edro, preparations are ye, a so many, and a sense when a home come and ye bedi, a Jumedi as so. Nano a year Thursday, and ye shed Jumedi as an impenny for Brenano and a share, ye join Africa, and ye modern way a bo at the World Cup home, and a Ghana dear and a edusui, ye ready, and I say ye ready. My main charming Hosi Mamra, Beba, make guest a Ufia, anyone who muscle, need a main to the Somo, and the actual war. Me charming Abba, may I told Jumedi as well. Well, welcome back from the break. We the Happy Sports Dialogue World Cup Series, and about this the second edition. The Ebra War, and of course the big question Ibisa and say, of course, Ghana are ready, and I say you're ready for the World Cup. World Cup in the here on the 20th of this very month. Ghana, your boy first game against Portugal on 24th. Don't forget, sir, teams in Bebenano release on provisional squad. A big crowd arrogantly. I release you almost 26-man squad. Now, 55 equal 26 no. Indeed, by FIFA regulations, by 10th of November, now sir, will be submitted the final 26-man squad. Next week. Don't forget, next week Thursday, now Tracer and now players being and the woman, players being and the free more. Nina young come ye bedi Jumedi so. But I mean, chaos and penning for a hold a num and a bedi Jumedi, Bebenano. Aboboni be a coachy experience with the national team, be at the club level, and the national team culture, and until you are from one, yani omu obedi enkomo. On my far left, coach, also me bona baswo, say washi team kama. The Olympic team, muni Mozambique boy, 4-1 on aggregate, ne FEQA, 2-1 away, 2-0 at the Bayer Sports Stadium. Ibrahim Tanko, me guest on the show, or a former assistant coach for the senior national team, the Black Stars, and they can say or head coach at the Mad Olympic team of Ghana IFN under 23. You know, but I'm going to pay it as what kind of say or Jumedi as well. Now the Ode Tanko Otoso ya rush na Joda Bride kind of say maybe Brekum Sunyane a group of Bedi, you know. That day, no, Obi Sisan the club, I don't support for quite ever support Accra as a folk. Ya rush me guest on the panel or sign head coach at the Accra Great Olympics or the Wonder Club head coach. Omutu Kwai Echo a year summer boy Echo G points by idea Auburn Homodin ye in the Ghana Premier League. Ya rush and I pay any tifuna that's a journey Ewojumedi as well. There was also beyond another yaw. But we only ya rush, only ya preko. Or ya champo, omunyano is ya kind of the senior national team, the Black Stars. On see a coach, our coach Premier League teams be brave. A modern more boy or sharks and a sweaty. Not almost said, didn't the team or put it together no, na FEQA. And ya champo, Mamma Chima Quaba, Ebajumedi as well. All right. If a call man also soon an impenny for me and also a dim come on. A year former technical director of the Ghana Football Association. Oboboni Bida, a coachida. Ene or ye ene okochi as a chem or technical director was a chem football club made division 1 enti we coach teams be brave or Ghana ha class folk be brave and one we coach or CAF instructor so CAF technical instructor as so awo ho oti akenten aye nyina fe nyame ba so ahoma coach team kan me wa chema kwa abadwumadi so na pay
okay hello pacho me jeusi wae
Coach, the other can make na a higher kwan ho.
Mpacho wate.
Oka say e dey me offer say on frame e ni nkomo offer e ya betimi nka e odwumadi so
Mate.
na the FN say omo nyina no one way or the other either as players or coaches have had something to do with the national team at tournament at the higher level until you bet your margin your expertise in this area. Coach, team here ready. Omo nyina ebe say team we are you ready? And you ready so omo say team we and you ready. Say cast team boy ready ah. Dey na ye kire. Ni nyina no nkomo ho a ye ba be di e wodwumadi. So me fa as da kese e ma bo afo bia bo me dwumadi me de bromo ene anapay. So Casa Properties ene omo say omo dan no omo nton in dollars. Ama ne dollar ko 13 cities ni 14 cities. We show as what the mortgage $1 there be we dey no cities. 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 400,000 Ghana cedis. So maybe and they enche no landlord. Na neighborhoods omo si dan so wono neighborhoods papa a che say comfort and security there. Ade a omo adwene ho yie pa. Enti me sere wa akọ omo office or Lagos Avenue East Legon. From on 0302 9608 65 and as WhatsApp on 0553 697886. So Casa Properties is a building on trust. And on some so and no. Mami enka o say ene extra dwumadi a ebeba so echina ene memenda wo mofa place jowolo mo peduane pa no we ekoma mo ebi say omo de nkosua ebe variety of foods na brabe taste bi hwe chibom Peter mi cameraman opechibom pa ene me ne be kochina na yesu akokudi eduane bi ebe food expo eating competition ebe karaoke session games and after egg hunt na impinkola ni nyina akoda ya after dark party no so no akoso na fast like say e ma Shack Express and a Little Cow a partners in the America Soya Association Soya Bean Association Wish Ghana National Egg Campaign Secretariat and a sponsor here Aramax a shop and ship a Haspora and an Enterprise Life Insurance and a extra offering invasion almost nutrition for all. High sense everyday prices for everyday people. And today World Cup be so you TV papa I hear also I say Kev say the ope be a 4K 6K TV quality no was 3 ne bonus so from there a high sense TV and more plans na me kan for e ma wo dey na ope air condition dey na ope me sere wakọ na koji omoniama ni bi almost everyday prices for everyday people from where on 0302 550000 na afesu no mo obi a organ ha akọ ho a obenyo mo show no bi ho o mo show no so de bebre bi a obi a no obe show no bi eben wo ensuo a wonom a ogi obi nkwan awake purified drinking water na oto nsuo no mi sema de to de Boa National Cardiothoracic Center Mr. Umpewei na opeden Mr. Koswana no awake almost say one for life opedo to from on 0262 351 251 on 0272 1337 3 Betkin ene ahonchira abeyi na ma men kan for Betkin infama wate ko ne kutwa beto ho ne diska egu botom Betkin udi a yemfo sika nware sika no eta ho to ntu di a eno se yesene edi ama omomo na de FN say omo daily price of 125 cedis omo virtual dug jackpot no eso ntu mpewei na opeden Ghanaian players can also claim up to 1,000 every week while omo virtual game near 125 Ghana cedis omo virtual game so ho ombody bia Betkin ho de ro na mebo edi amawe wonim say pressure will chrome enti impenifo ha me invite him akọ African Legends Night yekutwa na ase asa na yekodie afi onwo eba amachi dede Rexoma Samini na efia pressure aba chrome enti ebedu okwa na league ya bawiye na yekọ World Cup enti pressure aba nyina se we ni o se lose o yenko na yenkodi asa na single 300 na couple no 500 Ghana cedis over ticket ni bia call African Legends Night .com and answer short code star 713 star 33 star 40 hash star 713 star 33 star 40 hash and answer free 1020 2222 095 na reserve o ticket ni bi memphas da kase my Global Media Alliance and after the Ghana Tourism Authority Beyond the Return Perception Management International MX24 TV ETV City FM YFM Business and Financial Times Happy FM Daily Guide Ghana Web Amaya Debra and NY DJ Live. African Legends Night celebrating music of African origin. Yefa enu NC na yɛmmra nkɔmmɔdie no so mbenfo we dey mama kwa babio na tanko ye bo abaso for adwumadi awudie with the national under 23 team some Moshe Mozambique by 4-1 on aggregate they are qualified.
The Ghana for so I see no mumpaibo because in 6 weeks they prepare team no. You know, if you say almost 99% local boys.
Yeah.
You know, means we may more abaso because we a very good job.
Now our person will be foreign base place to be the next qualifier match against Congo. Congo for your Nigeria for free. Won't any Congo DRC for Asia.
Oh, let me say national team, so local or foreign, let's say we fall into that category. Yeah, why not? A very good team in our country. You know, it's a time and also more modern and a bit from because the national team they are modern and I mean with current form mostly different.
Now, what close windows now, even local players they ball league, and so be a in who now yeah, dinner officer over our friend now.
Oh, of course, and America no because they say no, we are in our colleague, eco back, and I may or league in the mountain, definitely measure a opponent open for everyone or fall into that category. So, we are born home or definitely over team.
Now, Callan's saying.
Well, I mean, I win 3 games out of 4, and I may say. Colano bomb home because the last match they never know and 3 players in so and count by still no it may share dreams FC 1-0
our way so it's very impressive.
So say 3 out of 4 there and it's
a good return. Remember your rush or your preco also call a summer boy about the 1 point in the buy very difficult grounds to play but what to be the 1 point Abba yeah next say.
Oh, no, very difficult because obi any more Division 1 for more kobo obi but testify say some boy they own coho. But I think say me more supporters na ba so omo comport to omo fine. I say na ya mo first game home even though no that field ni shadanye papa bia I think in Kyoto a day before. Ntina so I at the check akra but some parts no so no okay but I believe say behu if anything fort a war on bet stance na there A1 superb one say teams ni nyina benya if anything
smaller
yeah capacity sana no mu ko twakra na TV no a befe but game itself no it was very difficult as usual almost start in like no more home first home game tina obi our first home game Premier da and I remember Bradford no Premier da first home when ni Arsenal and say no dey so mo di omanum Arsenal charm
last season first game
yes and the record make say we no obi person your record the first home dey say or the winning na or the cementing away or Premier League they say me your first Premier League match, you know, in the Olympics, the boy, or a park with your show, but then I want to me and yes, victory, you know, your boys and so bomber bass or more idea pa. They really fought and easy ground to go and get a point, so we'll build on it.
Coach, our champion said pressure a Premier League when coach you more the tanko from your rush from them say would the form if you say obi no be distance more do attempt. Who we need the champion? Who lose one match? Say who need maybe a pressure number form.
Pressure need the form. Being fast so and congratulate you because like this is na o kan coach Ejumalo is all about the results.
Yeah.
It is a one way to me any results na ye penny dia me fa we so I congratulate you. Media me pressure need to say there
form. I'm just say for you coach Ibrahim Tanko. National team job no. I mean you've been there winning the Kosovo or the national team. So team o je me say team no performance no na ye china what may be the reason? Entia o take over a team na results e bia na abade but performance na say dey what may be the factors in here and result performance in this?
Yeah, well, let me say, national team, free. I mean, and yeah, like club side, won the whole season, when the team, they call through a season. National team, send them before, a form different. And friends who are from different clubs and this year. In the course of training, definitely, Ubenya, baby, and then friendly matches and Ghana for a see and international friendly matches, not because of the results, but we should show team. And a process, and I may say, starting from call-ups and then qualifies, so qualifying, so going to the tournament. And by now, and I will say at least 70-80% of players, if you say. And then ubenya time no more go through a training. If you say mre or hot, yeah, definitely ubenya at the end ubenya team need the way upes or mobile.
Coach Yafreko, and no a hack coaching at the national team level. Say we need the materials are not be training a month or even and the World Cup require 2 weeks for preparations. 10 days for us. Because clubs in big down place on the 14th. Yeah, boy, first match 24th. High team in terms of preparation and getting question I pay at the World Cup.
Yeah, and the season and if anything, tackle can say national team. Just imagine say, ball weekender. If I say Blasters, ball Saturday. Players ball weekend matches now. Almost form. On Baby do Tuesday. You have only Wednesday and Thursday. There's no cohesion. You might get it right, you might not get it right. But Ghana for the Omu is our players no banana to say it's almost better perform miracle. Say Ankoye Ekoye cry in 3 points cry na ye say them ball a boy and a FA and I say nti ejumani de a difficult. But World Cup we me who World Cup we say a different World Cup altogether.
Sure.
World Cups near ya boni nyina season be end the players be rest be when the season is coming to an end the team no pressure be any so until omo have fun training that is it. Training cra no be wo ho a mukọ a enye we bia na mukọ nti o sunson ho na Odiako, wabenya some few days break and sana wa join the team no na for the more prepare for the World Cup. But we there I bet season started and no as an after players ni be pick it. And injury so I started ebemu ne na sefo. Nti World Cup we World Cup be stronko. Stronko nti team obe prepare here and you don't have time. Unya emre pro players na you have to make sure say we put them together whether you like it or not the no will be I think that's one of the European countries almost last week on bomb last if anything last league match if anything Senegal the country can prepare for the World Cup but unimre until ultimately blame obia but technical it's another experience I will be able to go through. You just have to prepare and make sure say players are over from no be enye will be back matra makwe enye matra makwe
there's more experience at that tournament
players they have to be ready it has to be spot on because won't mean experiment be only and a lot of friendly matches I'll be maybe 3-4 friendly matches. I believe say 2 matches na boy, coaches technical team no team no players some person from mistake where they fall short say now no some patch up na I believe say one friendly match against Switzerland and I strongly believe say that is when I be the shape of the team itself before the World Cup. Ejumane there a very difficult among the technical team, but like I said earlier on, national teams in countries this is what they are going to face players and but the over started year and the obenya if I say no preparation very well no obey anything over cause
a lot of
lot of
damage to an
damage to it.
For example, you hear from the player's perspective, and they much more pressure more and I say it is more fun because born be our boy when because you are in form. So every game is over. But workload in terms of ball league competitive per results. After you know bumper as a man you be a ma so with me I World Cup no and no every way or more psychologically now.
Yeah, and also can be because now some of the countries, more players are starting prepare.
Yeah.
Because of World Cup, we be the league matches, so so that injury be a but fortunately, board they went to me time injury beba. Nti yenye na ebon pa say you betumi enya players are my ready like my colleagues na can betumi enya players on my ready are betumi ejina ekona no with yenye na support no. I believe say on betumi am what we want and then the technical team no so like my colleagues na can no ejuma na enye easy. I believe say now cry eti high kasa no cry almost omo eguso one or two patches bi a betumi dey aka team no mama ebedu D-Day no yetumi yegyina ebetumi aye ready.
Ko tanko Otaka the bacho remember how abeje your thought on this one. But I mean tanko bacho yen hwe Otodo be take you over no. See you cock backward there it even makes it very worse in terms of results and the performance right from the AFCON. Enya kra. But on be take you over and we qualify for the World Cup even though you're winning against Nigeria. 2 games in a draw. They fought only 2 games against Madagascar and against Nicaragua. Well, because these are not tough opponents of Ghana. Do you think that they are on top of the work in terms of player selection, player call-up, and it gives us hope going to the World Cup?
Yes, Mejidi say more the right part because senior worker they say in football there is no minor. I mean any team I win in the Beshia you have to win first. And in Ukraine say technical team I mean media me ogidie because nyekwa na omotimi qualify to the World Cup. I mean these 2 games na no in Ukraine na obi any hope but I mean we matimi agina wa qualify my entino me 100% sure say or money going forward. I'm going to the World Cup. No, the toughness I work on and I'm sure say or more Juma. So at the end of the day, no, me hope you say you bet me I be World Cup.
Yeah, rush. 11 games you win me no pay. I say ni ya ji nyina you more qualify for the World Cup. Enti eno Baby, raise question say there be share results and share that and shame crimes even though they did very well in qualifying to the World Cup, but subsequent games, for instance, in the Central African Republic, it gives a lot more people reason to be worried.
So say qualify no my assistant coaches.
Yeah.
3 coaches and a technical team we but technical team we almost dambo fairness almost need time and dambo matches and he beka but matches on my bono apart from Brazil matches almost lose we and yeah who say like I said earlier no or who be almost fall short and a new one so abem omo asese omo nationality ni na sefo no afoforo nyina abem nti sa too much is omo boy I strongly believe that omo hu yeti hey so be catch say auto name ni if anything ni 20 26 26 kan obi obeka so auto name ba no din draw as a coach no by this time they would name because or fair idea of the players no ebia 3 players be no hwe say obetimi de omo ahye mu ebe yiwe wu na yiwe afimu na de obi ahye because ebinum form asan sorry ebinum form me hwe I was watching Ghent pencil yeah minim so wo sa speed bi
very
I'm telling me adwuma na obo 8 that time no obo 8 say we coaching under 20 mini FN saying Didi tama yede ne ba bobo under 20 so no boss 6 now boss 6 benanse no o hwe me hwe pass bi e de man no a they say you me take you off e de ball no to n'anim na me say I'm on for some style because anka no pa because ne man nickname ababashe ni ball control bi so the best answer answer na but for him to take enti I'm on for a resume game obi ani abrel obi apese okọ World Cup no enti ema technical team no me I strongly believe say senior amanfo ani enda Ghana so say ye underdogs and ye because you call your last tournament and sheda anko year my AFCON no and like I said earlier no team na foforo players foforo ababe shame and obi apese okoton ho World Cup no and I start revenge in that if I don't believe in that, especially player no or park no so anything at all can happen. Yeah. Tournament before you find say no the tournament in cry injuries in that so it is a revenge and so coming in number for mama play some fan show mutim on person taking game after game. Likewise the technical team. When him say the final list no more de bano. Say we ni why say wait me bo. And you can say call you say oh we ni why we wait me abo and say wait because unyano untimi say World Cup untimi nyano 100%. Ebenya ebibeto sinikakra but at the end of the day no I know say they will be ready for the tournament.
I mean Kate here for say you made out here live on radio, live on TV, and of course coaches me in the studio ha me no so online so me emma coach David Duncan akwaba so adwene e odwumade so e coach edema Mediema SC Football Club and after so cry no was sign former assistant coach of the Black Stars, former assistant coach of the Black Stars. We're joining live on the call. Coach, but you're pay much more about you. So,
my watch so.
Coach Didi.
Hello.
Why are you doing?
Me too capable will be.
Me watching.
Me also.
But you're not talking to say on the pay.
Come again.
Talk what to say on the pay.
Oh, Ahaboko.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm waiting also for the appointment. I bet you didn't come up, baby. Anyways. Fantastic. More share there, more coaches trained eye and more the share game. More share game differently. Yes, so I did emotions differently. For us, we are very worried about the performance of the team. For you as a coach, Sana also know.
Me who notices na o can because before this technical team no be near target nyina ni say ye call World Cup. Yeah share number of matches or more boy any number of win or more win near target ni nyina ni say ye call World Cup. We want to make qualify ye call World Cup. During the course of the World Cup so you will say players be ebemu ebi nso fie mu ebi nso to me naturalize ebe count so that tells you say the technical team are working very very hard and you say be a womote ho they are doing everything possible to have their team until like preko kan no now I believe say be a time na ekọ no ebe do time I be boy last game no nature say team no are ready me so me believe pa say with this technical team no you be ko enim pa.
Coach Tanko, you need Brazil game, no? In the opinion of many, exposing power. If you say, now young new players about, you don't have a lot of friendly games. I'll be integrate you. Why do you put them on the bench? But from you as a coach, would you say it was the right decision to integrate them slowly into the team and that performance, even against Brazil, also, and Sri Lanka?
Yeah, let me say. Against Brazil, because the results, very, very sad as for a nation. But I mean, the new players are definitely, I would say, integrate two or more. Kakra. I mean, the same is Salisu, friend is
Lamte, so Inaki Williams.
Yes, I think if you say, big deal, say, one more Martin bench. At the end of the day, no. Or share team or prepare and we are mono aba mufufro and definitely in the movie tonight. You know, if you say we say more time na omo ankasa ehwe de omo fi say be good am because say na ye kan we chire omo na ben team no omo na nim de ekoso ho so me fi say more omo that chance
Yarash Ghana by the Ghana Nicaragua I'm on for Nianje in fact na you hope o team no mo asade hope ni nyina yara na hampuni na World Cup
say entina na ye friendly match
yeah
friendly match no we use friendly match no do the ye experiment ayana so wabobida onim say wo park no so a wabobida onim say wo park no so a who say a friendly match but come on we have to say we played against Brazil now from player to player no doubt way him form players say ekura wom national teams in the EFN into only team beat Brazil boy e ho na who say me level no me do him yeah all they assess because ball no boy ye nim say ye hwe tactically Brazilians ne nim say anka Brazil dey anka omo ball omo use middle no more but omo sesa you say omo use flanks no more
wing play more
yes into something ye nyina ye hwe ye nyina ehu ye esua ade players no ne technical team obi ehu say in future no say one ukoshia Brazil during the World Cup na ukoshia Brazil they see no we sua bibi wo ho a and I say
team also bought the same style
beautiful
how bet me manage wo
and so na ukoshia team bi so to say Nicaragua na friend saying who underrated no because I believe that Nicaragua we created
a lot of chances
but ball no na fan to ball but on a good day no you might beat them 5 and 6 and Ghana for no you can share Nicaragua 5-6 and so you got the team na ya bro so you can see but inti me no they see no too much is they see any no like I said earlier no something a good match technical team no omo wi a omo tenase omo hwe games ni nyina wi omo assess where omo face they have to patch up and then prepare the team to the next level players omo face omo nya fair idea of the players on betimi the World Cup no I know say too much is not boy even though people were talking about the result but I think say a boy empire
okay ma me kwa man so na me ma coach Didi me friend Didi David Duncan and former technical director of the FA Otiakente and Kwaba bi so ma join here coach na me jewo earlier thought of our performance over the period AFCON me no one here AFCON on TV so yeni anye e say na they expected from the team no even though you're qualified for the World Cup, it's not been an 18 good crowd performances from the Black Stars. Your general impressions about the team going into the World Cup?
Okay. First and foremost, good morning to you and crew, and good morning to my co-panelists and guests at Umu Studios. Of course, I can't. From where I sit, because I'm not on the grounds with a team, to be able to make a fair assessment of the last couple of matches at Omo Abono. But if you take perhaps the last 2 games that qualified the team to the World Cup, that is the Nigerian hurdles, we qualified, but circumstances, means there is a need to improve for the team as a whole, because that is a very competitive game, and if the national team goes out there in 2 games, we show 1 away, and then home you are not able to score, it calls for some worry or concern. But having said that, meaning they had hurriedly assembled a technical team, and they probably didn't know the team that well. And if the results went that way, I think it's good riddance, because the ultimate was to qualify, which they did. if you take into consideration friendly games from the ball recently against Brazil and Nicaragua now, of course, I mean, teams and coaches or selectors of a national team players going into a national team friendly, you don't read too much meaning into the outcome because you probably do not know the objective with which they went into the friendly match. Your friendly matches a lot of times. It's a good feeling if you go into a game and you win, but a lot of times, with friendly matches, it is much more. I mean, the objective is much more than the outcome, especially with the national team. You probably don't have too much time looking at players. Giovanni Trapattoni some time ago, I'll say club side coaching is like sculpting. A sculptor. If you're a national team coach, you are working with a club side. It's like a sculptor. You chip here, you throw it away. You just want to ultimately form an object which really so. But with the national team, it's more like cooking in the kitchen. You put a lot of ingredients together and you blend it in a blender kind of. So it is with speed. Into any opportunity now, but you probably might not be looking at the outcome per se because you didn't take time to build it like a sculpture. But you want to blend it as quickly as possible. So a lot of times, I mean, there's a chopping and changing here and there, to make sure that you have gotten the team of your taste to go into a major tournament like the Black Stars. It's like the World Cup in Qatar 2022 a year ago. So, having said all that, at this point in time, they have what they want, and they like what they saw out of the two friendly games, So they should be raring to go, and they should be, perhaps, if not, between 70 to 90% readier. Then, of course, I can't tell whether we are ready just yet. But if they indeed like what they saw, then I'm sure that they have what they think they can prosecute the Qatar World Cup agenda, and come out with some very satisfactory outcomes.
We've seen a lot of chopping and changing, not only technical team, but even the playing body. Now we have a lot of new faces coming in. Coupled with the fact that you have a lot of time preparing for this World Cup, and yet disadvantage, even though the quality of this players is in doubt, and higher going to the World Cup.
Well, it comes down once again to recruitment. When you are preparing a team for any competition, for me, I think the key bit of the preparation starts with recruitment. Because, of course, we all know that preparation gives. Hello? Am I still on the line?
Yeah, still all lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, preparation gives one in every endeavor the edge. So, which players have been recruited or assembled to execute our agenda of Qatar 22? Whether home-based players, what we call local professionals, now foreign-based professionals, it's what the coach thinks to say, will do a very good job, as far as the assignment on hand is concerned. So I am not in the mind of the selectors, but you would want to find out the mindset of the selectors of the squad in terms of the playing structure of the team, that usually would translate into the shape of the team. It does not necessarily win games though, but it informs the players, about the kind of responsibilities that will be assigned to them as individuals. In Tianena, they inform the coach to pick the players of his taste and now the shape of the team that he wants. And whether it's a mixture of within a very relatively short period of time or whatever, it is the coach who is making those decisions, and the mindset with which he is doing that, I think is what perhaps we should bear with him in respect of what ultimately he wants to achieve with his choices and preferences. So let's not read too much meaning into where the players are coming from and all of that. Bottom line is, I have always believed that there are 7 key attributes that every coach should look out for in picking his players. Or starting lineup. If we get those 7 attributes now, there are majors and minors.
Yeah.
After 7, you can add some more to it. But the key ones for me are 7. So I don't know, and I'm not in his mind, but within a very short space of time, if you give me a team to pick, if you give me a team to assemble, I'll be looking out for those 7 attributes, which fills out some areas on the field at any given time. I don't need 11 attributes. I need just 7. When I get a 7, the other 4 could be a bonus. I don't know whether you might want me to go into that. Because
we have time. We have time. We can go into the 7 attributes. Okay. If indeed the players assembled have those
yeah.
attributes.
So you see the modern game, it is more of rules and players who qualities than necessarily not failing every space on the field. That is why in modern times, when we're growing up, we knew that, or not too long ago, we knew that there was a back 4, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, defenders. But right now, we are having a situation where we say 3 back. So what it means is that those number 2, any number 3 positions, so what has become of them? So now we don't need necessarily a certain number 2, a certain number 3. So if I can find first and foremost, if I'm talking about 7 attributes now, I'll be asking myself, who leads the team? So we are talking about a leader here. And yet it is not a position. It is a role, it is a function. How charismatic is he? Does he unify the entire members of the team? Do they see him as Obia? He rallies the entire team into battle. Of course, when we are going into a game, we consider it to be a battle. Maybe you might go deeper and say, is he egoistical? The type he seeks self-glory, other than one for the entire team. Leader in the modern game, he's supposed to be a very, very important part of the jigsaw puzzle of a team, and not necessarily a position. And when you are choosing a leader, of course, or when you want to pick your leader, go into a battle, you have to do it surgically. And one of the ingredients are the general team success. So if you can get that leader from outside or local, like we're talking about, if you can find a leader from amongst whoever, it's a key ingredient, and a recipe for success for every team. Now, you also want to find out how reliable is our shot stopper with his hands and perhaps now the use of his feet, as one who will help the team play from the back, as we have come to know it now. Now we are talking about keepers being the players who initiate a whole attack even from the back. How many times haven't we seen Alisson Becker deliver passes right from his goal area for his front men to finish off? They didn't start playing from the back. The same thing applies to Edison of Man City.
Yeah.
So you want to find out whether you have, you know, a characteristic feature in the shape of your goalkeeper going into a tournament like this. You know, it's a huge requirement in the modern game, and you can't overlook it. Yeah, he's virtually somebody who is playing as the one who starts anything that is coming from the back, because he's the last man in the line of the defense, if you have to consider him as such, whilst he's also stopping the ball from entering the net with his hand. So that is the second one. The third one, you look at, do we have a pivot at the center of the defense, or the heart of the defense? It does not necessarily have to be a captain, but somebody who commands. A lot of times, you know, when they show those attributes of being commanding from the back, now both near the captain's armband, near the arm. A typical example is what's the name? This Chelsea central defender, Brazil. Just give me his name.
Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva. In spite of the fact that he's 38 years of age, they are not giving him the captain's armband, or they haven't decided. You know, Chelsea had a policy of not even giving players who are over 30 more than a year
contract. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they don't even consider you know, in signing to come in the first place past 30 years. So you get to know that he had a certain attribute that fits perfectly into what I'm talking about. That is why they gave into signing him, because he's a pivot in the heart of the defense. How many successful teams have been seen are almost attributes and almost traits in one of such players? We had John Terry, we had for Chelsea, we had Carlos Puyol from Barcelona, we had Company, Man City. They might not necessarily be leaders of the team, but in the heart of the defense, they command the back so well that it becomes impregnable to break through. So that is also very, very important.
Coach, you have to hold it there for me. You have some the other key attribute, because this is a very important point. Also, you should consider, you know, going to the World Cup, because you've raised, you know, goalkeeping and whether indeed Obetimi boy, and the examples you cite. Fortunately for Brazil, almost two goalkeepers they fit that, you know, description perfectly. The first goalkeeper and the second goalkeeper, you know, top class goalkeepers. But Utea can tell so, and I'd like to find out from you as a former technical director of the AFA, whether indeed coaches should have a different mentality going to this World Cup based on how different the World Cup is. The climate, whether or not war a year Qatar, time a year about World Cup, you know, there's in season. The season is still going on. Players are living, you know, camp on their team 7 days to the World Cup, and all that. From the technical point of view, how should teams prepare? How should teams, you know, organize themselves going to this World Cup? Coyote, where your question from the directorate point of view?
Hello.
Yeah, me too, Nyamiba.
Ohene.
Odi.
Ebacho Kasavira Binji.
Not me, bisa from the technical point of view, you know, at the CAF level, FIFA level, how should coaches now approach the tournament way? Considering say season a course, players in Befi or Mutima 7 days to the start of the World Cup. Whether no, I know she pa. I think that could December no. In the stadium, some of them have, you know, air conditions and all that. We are technical, we are coach, our lead team. How should you plan, you know, going to this World Cup?
Ohene answer my mini cancha a minion of Mr. Village video. Tina, Missumi, me, a yon. Me who almost watch me, who one come, me show money, one come, papa. Almost usually, you are preconceived to a friend back.
Interesting.
Is it your call retirement? Your call retirement over here.
All right,
it's nice hearing their voices. Me kakra bi na mtie mu. Wo mo bia you know batem say na me adwa bi nti question dey am say what busa questions what I answer you
sir
because what we say already ni arehwe baby a ye call campaign it I say weather not saying very very important accommodation in feeding in BBR me sure say normally we are blast for the omo metro ko me sure say o ma yes anya ma we nyina ma bia o ma yes ade nso baby o ma kwa hwehwe nso menim say o hwe any weather no a ene no ebeko at the time we say union bebre no so o mu nyina the majority of them no mu nyina ebo Europe nti na nyi ni se bia ono mo ebehwe say weather no be bia be hanya na say bia enkoyi emaye I'm sure say omo atiki eyi ewo we nyina ho me jirizu say another important factor bia is say omo ahwe and say orumbema yenuanum bi akọ scouting na make say me ni ohonom already it meaning what has happened nationwide, But I believe there was an important situation like this, Mama, Omo scouts Omo Emma Bonte, Emeka, but me sure say they have already started working. And men Omo qualify and Oma Shas, yes, Omo, yes, I believe you have dear cacao, the one.
But you say Debbie.
I
scout on you
scouts because me kai say
but it didn't be me too sure in your official to me
me kai say ye ko you say South Africa say me say na e be say me di say bia for na chi and they were in Austria me tena Austria me zakosi the chima me tena Austria for almost about 1 month.
Wow.
Until me follow omu babia moko bia nti mitimi ehwe omu game kakra na Brazil so no minya konya ehwe Portugal for no metra Lisbon for some time me di omu chiko America for some time bibia kama say so hwe South Africa say bibia koso kama me say Papa Milo o mama konya ma many players board work kakra South Africa so a friend saying Brazil so inya akonya kakra ntina say Brazil say de ko bae no ane sikasem no a ko bae no ama omoyi so hwe game wa boy no nanka according to yipa nanka say chimi eshom nti I believe is Omo this very important because a global village. It is a one to me and yes scouting which is a one year problem park. Woman say Omo Euro Omo ball championships and any kaka. But all the same no. So at one what me actually Omo ya and also able to me aboa am se kujan kan eka bi se Alice in your bola and he fana wo bo akotu nti se ebia wo mo low pressing and I say bi wo mo high pressing and I say wo mo medium pressing kra no a onya ball no a nkofo nim se we mu de ball no wo mo high pressing nti ne bia yen kra no bitimi a start yen attack kra from yen ya go mu na ye dia mai bia ye 2 near 3 near ye nekese near koye nti we have vital information and this omo be here ya media me gidi say by now no more etimi aye ho adwuma and be this is no say scouting we are na very ideal say obeka kire obi say makwa ko yi coach Duncan na say coach Tanko say won ko tra won ko ese and I believe they might have done that in this almost yes I just say preparation I can just be aye ho adwuma no and I make say why answer question because I told you say they say you the type of weather na you are you know ye kwa gi baby ya kwa akotena ya kwa hwe ni aye ho adwuma mate say ma ye nkofo kra enko hotel oni de kaka ho ndiye ze wo nyina ye nyema bia o mahwe a o mugiri se bitumi aye adwuma no ebi de amaye and as you say no say players no na ye ka say em say see we no work up of a difference in the sense say we no season no marry ya ansa no mako we season no ahase enti okay ye prayers no so ye ka say bibi o mu gina o mu bi awa ma no ne ibi o mu ha se kura no o ma ye o mu pre-season o ma ye pre-season na wie ya o mo o ma wie competition period ya o mo competition enti mi gize coach ni so no yenu ana wo Germany me wa wish me say
Otoado
no Otoado minim say wo hwe say season no ahase the season ahase dia anya afi no do mo ba be training gidi bia tina me ka say we no kra no eye maye ade e wo mu a yesuru a ne say ebia injuries there ebitimi about any time maybe MC village am won me nya kwan hwe TV station bi no more say omo den yam ya say player bi epra nti ultimi any Ghana neighbor I think it's a Portugal no I'm say Uruguay also any parliament no unya kwa me bu
so you mean South Korea
South Korea
enye empire ye be so
so no
empire be so
it is yes so I am boy
unu dia ba bi na chebi so dia kupra
na de digwa na ekra ezi e bompa ezi obi kupra
yeah
ezi a year preparation na it di coach because obi a qualify at this stage bia no obi a obo no homodin intirati na eze bompa ezi obi a kupra sa na akoye ya no kra enye healthy enye nyankopon so kra dia ope intiri make can say you train no maintenance na papa ni bi obeye and you do say no a me say ono be for fitness instructor and the fitness instructor no you should know the level of our players by now you should have monitored all our players fitness level ni bia it no enya afi ni kwa akotra say afi ni ye sha ase to say ye practice it maintenance so there with their level no I know that they know how to go about it. It is a Nema will mean an Nema Kakra, as a Yitini Ekabumwa, Ibitumi Amagumano, Akoso.
Coach, me that's now. My main car was an age HD plus, the Philly experience. Omo, and Kwanema HD platform or Ghana ha. Obetumi a pause, a record, a reverse, udikoda no the Oshibia. Sukasa properties, say affordable but luxurious properties. So the building on trust. Ashimota Mall, the best place to shop in Accra and Ghana. Liberty Industries, Fido Microcredit, and a Colonial Impressions. My uncle breaking by a bar. You be call issues amount for you say. Otoado no as a part time no behind. You be share player selection going to the World Cup. 55 near to some number 26. Why na if you why na eka ho coach is be a nightmare and I say omo de so mo you be a free squad mo do be abeka ho ye twa ho ba ye ba ye be decent ko ya to aso. Remember that say we feed you down that happy 98.9 FM number one sports station avenue ETV Ghana, a world of quality entertainment. I mean I will say Jubedi Awhia OTA a World Cup dialogue a series no and the ebrewe ne ko yise Koko Dam coach national team ni bi pen omunim de koso abo bi pen interestingly omo yense wo studio hina no bon omo bi da o they are former national team players and they omo going to coach na yani omo edi nkomo na me wo coach David Duncan so ahoma former assistant coach of the Black Stars and office kwano and the coach Edma Mediama Football Club and office former technical director of the Ghana Football Association coach Tekenten and so ahoma so remember omo ho na mama coach wie ni submissions but Tanko I'm for raise issue say coach say World Cup ni nyina no full-time coaches focus on the national teams to kwan monitoring and analyze the opponent so yeah the divided attention ho coach Dortmund sign Ghana yet we know hwe but for feel say and also why to get his full concentration on what do you say issues so
yeah let me say painful omoko fa ne buy no omonim this situation and omoko fa ne buy and me feel say what you have qualify to World Cup and I mean me sure say coach bia will qualify World Cup no be person will be tournament you know if you say I don't know my say see what say after World Cup or coach bia but man focus on World Cup no because it's the main reason FA ko fan buy is just because of the 2 matches and then the World Cup and I mean child they were team qualifying to me if you say ball World Cup new then I started discussion about coach.
Okay. Yarash coach is there moye munya masonko ye kedwene player we ye idea how bo no e bi kwara coach kwa in the selection kwara some few days to the World Cup what happens to you maybe use you as an example a few days to a match day what happens to you or thinking process then I'm wondering when say we play be fit squad munya dia easy but for you any coaches are more coaches at the national team level now you know how does that happen how do you look at a player say Tanko we dem Mr. World Cup run to be in Kobe me ke bia na wasambo qualifiers e dia ma wo enso bia na obi aba wo superior talent in terms of no World Cup how do you manage all those processes
many are called that ye nyina ya femu as players ya bo under ya prumu ya wadan ni abenya no nyanko se chale tukwan o ko we go bi wadan na yes 4 am na man for tiptoe ko
edu sorry
no na omko o kunti for bag ne go fie ya nka nkyere o yes Inti prepare also as a coach na wa fam unim how esitie but untimi fa obi anko untimi fa obi anko and enye untimi nkofre 20 players na okay so anka me do ko but say nti na no untimi explain beto obi a nti at the end of the day no it's about if anything players also be him say so far as all boy if anything there or that's so year no there will be other tournaments be a beba obekobi and baby I can say your mom bo qualifier no mom bo tournament yeah your mom bo qualifier no mom bo tournament your tournament akukudro or no qualifier akukudro obi wo ha o sit tournament or a different player altogether obi wo nso a ye bo qualify no na ohun na ne ye fa ne sen ne modern be you do tournament mu a na wayira nti whether coach no he likes it or not no FIFA en fa bi nka no ho or the 26 no penebeko 26 no like ye ka no say omunim onim crowd no 98% of players no moko no because emre na so no nti the technical team and the FA baomis no oma communicate here who say we na 98% of the players na ekon we ni yenhwe some few days be but you see names no about whether you like it day na say about whether you like it or enye Ghana ha no na league na waka say oni emetwentwen so ye the injunction ato so
What's the missing?
no we the only choice bring it out nti obi etwen nti eba omo fair say ombenya ye fair this opportunity to represent us no we have to support them omo nkobi nso no we have to wish them good luck say you know on better so ayiro mo ho and I believe say majority of the boys no fortunate for them no so they are all playing in Europe nti enya fe na oka say nti me nko work up nti ana bebu mabem no you have to work at where you baby how did you want no na because AFCON will come and yeah believe say AFCON no you need the AFCON no so more pushing yeah work up yeah nti
Coach Danko bem
that's it.
I think the most important thing as a coach or technical team say obey fair because at the end of the day say me wo now say me na me fra more than 28 because ebe ma o peace to concentrate on your training. Uko fra more than 30 35 you know or on a problem name. So who started team no for example 23 I mean 6 weeks so I have to invite all the players and then my EBF frame. I know you can call more than 30 or so, but for now, our mobile qualifies. We while who players see more scout more. Maybe we say for 28 maximum never call, and then we will
just be proud training. When
you still have a chance to call someone back. So, uncle but if you say about technical team or more planning team. But at the end of the day, no way they are heavy coffee.
Yeah, Chapo.
I believe say more
Yeah.
because we have how many
Yeah,
days?
it's
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks.
So
say it started on the 20th.
In fact, 17 today is exactly 17 days to the World Cup.
So you know, you don't need to call 30, 40 so.
All right, I'm going to say Coach David Duncan da ho man say Coach wo ho so a na me bisa you know yeah worry say squad a provisional list some that call FIFA no yen san kan ehun players e wo mu do you also feel the same say also kabari say ehun players a e the provisional squad mu na ye bobo ho dwedwene ho na ye hwe wan kwa na betu make the 26-man squad for you as a squad I don't know if you also feel the same way
I was saying, why who are you referring to?
I'm saying, for me as a journalist, I'm a bit worried. Say, up to date, being who the provisional squad, maybe 26 in every more. For you, do you understand the technical team and the approach, or the FA and the approach? Say, it is not out yet. 10th next week Thursday, no, we will get to know the final 26-man squad.
Okay, you know, of course, everybody will be a preserve, you know, and it will safeguard the interest. From a journalistic perspective, you want it for content to discuss, you know, but it's for the technical team and as a head coach, you know, I mean, it does not serve him any way by way of, I mean, his interest by any stretch of imagination, or the Twabonte and Sana. You know, for him, what will that do to him? If he puts it out or doesn't put it out? Of course, I wouldn't call it best practice, but it is what we have come to accept as the norm. You know, when a press conference is held, you know, it serves as a rallying call. I mean, that's what I think, you know, for everybody just to rally around the team. You know, we are into it together and all of that. You know, but in terms of technical input, you know, and now what it does by way of a key ingredient for the team to either do well or perform well, I don't think that it's true necessarily, and it counts in any way. Say, if a team has to go into a tournament and do well, then it presupposes say, the squad it's a practice. It's nice. It's beautiful. You know, it's a rallying call for fans and everybody. You know, just to know that in Brazil, for example, we've seen videos of, you know, the squad being mentioned while, you know, they know. I mean, it's like
National
like
culture.
a time that everybody is aware of that it's going to be done. So they stay glued to have their television sets, you know, their radio sets and stuff like that. With families, everybody in anticipation that, you know, and when that happens, you see the reaction of the family members if it so happens that a member of the family is part of the team. You know, it's so beautiful. But I do not think that it has anything by way of performance and results, you know, of the team. The key ingredients, and I mean, if the coach is going to pick a team, he picks a team based on his objective, what he wants to see, the structure he wants to see, the shape he's considering going into a tournament with. Talking about even the substitution bench and all of that, the people that he has in mind. It is not to be a friendly and a better starter in the mind of the coach. So these are the key factors for which a coach will perhaps be selecting a team. And yet, because it's either been mentioned over the airwaves and either on television screens, and it's determining anything. But it's beautiful if it's done, especially for a huge tournament of the stature and also of the magnitude of the World Cup.
One technical bit of the team, the lack of goals in our team, and the fact that we've got Inaki Williams, Jordan Moore, you know, Fenet Jan. Do you think that the me set up a team in a way that can get goals for us at the World Cup?
Goals? Of course. I mean, like I was outlining, you know, it's one of the key ingredients that would a coach would take into consideration in picking his team. You always need a player you can rely on for goals, which for me is non-negotiable when it comes to football, you know, at any level. Because a lifeblood of the game, every team going to this particular tournament is doing so with the hopes that you go and get goals. So you must score goals in order to achieve the ultimate objective of winning trophy in the year. So whoever can be counted on in respect of that demand of the game, you know. But what we have, that is what we have. I mean, in terms of goal scoring, you know, we are not looking at the Betinakopa Obi from another country to come and play for us, because this is not when you're club side. If it were to be club side, then perhaps you would go for some Aguero, you would go for some Mbappe, you know, to come and fit him in your club to play. But when it comes, we narrow it down to the national team. You can only rely on players who are nationals of your country. And if from among the lot, you know, your goal scorer, the person with the greatest potential, say another prospect of getting a goal is Inaki Williams, according to the coach, and then so be it. As to whether he would go there up against some of the, you know, staunch or stout defenders of other countries that are going to be represented, you know, it's left to be seen. You know, we took the right goal scorer there or not. But at the end of the day, you also want to find out his numbers wherever he's playing.
At club
if
level.
If that is satisfactory to the coach, that will be fine. But once again, even though that is a key ingredient, you know, in the modern game, we are not only relying on so-called strikers, you know, to win a game. You know, a classical example was in the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, where Spain went with a 4-6-0 shape or formation. They went into games without a proven striker. I mean, some of the, even though they had the Torreses they have David Diaz and stuff like that, in the team. It was looking like it was Fabregas who was leading the line alongside the six front men, the four back and then the six. But they won the World Cup. So it's about function. It's about how the team operates. It's about how the team, decides to set up and what they have been instructed to do. The efficiency and the effectiveness of what they decide to do. And if it works, you will not be talking about strikers and who has to rely on for goal. Even though we know that one of the key ingredients as far as the modern game is concerned is about a proven striker, an ability of a player to put the ball behind the net. If you get a situation 3 out of maybe 6, he would put half away. So 50% conversion rate. This is what we are talking about. So sometimes the stars also work, but in the modern game, you can count on so many angles to be able to get goals. And so Inaki Williams, maybe he might be the type of person who would give defenders a hard time, give them no rest, no be a fahono or their benefit for the good of the team. So in a sense, the coach perhaps might be thinking his numbers might not be too good, but then per the way we are going to approach games, he would perhaps wear defenders down and somebody will just pass by and then get us a goal. I don't know. It's decision. I can't really tell what his mindset is in respect of that because Inaki Williams' goal scoring rate is nothing to write him about over the years. We all know.
Yeah.
Unlike Asamoah Gyan.
Remember in studio now me thought of your champion. Now me a bit argue say with the quality of centre backs for instance, we should go with the back three. Only one way arguing ever boy based on opposition so I share more the World Cup.
And I think it's a technical team decision because they also have their philosophy. They know the way one person on team a function. They so almost back three now it's okay by them. So almost back four so it's okay by them. Then you know almost so. Yeah, way they ain't to me say use back three and use.
But as a coach, the quality, would you become more comfortable going with a back? Is it 2 centre backs?
No, say me na me ko me the different approach na me dey ko.
Approach be.
Umi say how do we can say me back three.
Back three.
Yeah, me back three dey me and no na me pay. But if you be say ko tanko so me can so up 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, o credit man can so up 6.
I think
Tanko.
material war.
Yeah.
For example, on the 23, you call now a near dream cry to play a back three. But you share 2 matches in a back three because now your SL or your Pong or Alex. They are very comfortable with the ball.
They can pass.
Height, you're very good. And I see why not. And you try one more in one training session and who say yes. Because you have Randolph and you have Ashikwe as a wing.
Randolph bump it up every time. Ashikwe is the same.
If you say technical team, more matches and morning kind of style or person or move, and either back 3 or back 4. They hear and say move a good team. If you say, and they will do that for us.
Yarash, how do we keep party fit to the World Cup? I be the best out of you. I almost said the hand has a plastic leg. Keep because it's a team.
They won't mean guarantee. And they won't mean guarantee because there's no leg and there's no how. If anything, the medical team or was in as a medical team or more blasters, and this is a World Cup. What done also a different, and. Bibia different. Inti you won't mean guarantee say obetima bo first match no e na say and senior year style like boss we different. Or no bebia or no fever no so ye different. Party so say mo ka hu say party no an shada bobo Ghana heavier. Inti the bibia why more European inti there is no guarantee but you have to manage it. If row I demand no so no so be ono ankasa no wache wo game no onim ni obetimi aya ebe mano but I believe say I have an expectation no your expectation on him no too much.
Okay.
You know, yeah, he's or a player. I believe say we were doing finish
no
ball. But they ball holding cry person ko shego. Ne si Arsenal no ball no shego Arsenal I don't know no. I believe say on the style. And from what I heard about him, no, or easy player, so we're pushing around. Or see no or no. Or yes, or see yes, yes, or see no, I no. Until or easy to push around, never be controlled by heart be no. And when a player knows or pair, what to be controlled on the pitch, on the field of play, no. And I'm not worried about Partey at all. I know say we're gaining experience enough. Now if you will tell you, we are enjoying him. Let him be there, and forget about if anything. You just have to have the people around him because on no alone he can't do it.
Yeah.
And say because of Arsenal, just watch Arsenal the players around him. I made you man here so simple, man. Until if you bring Partey and you don't get players around him to suit how you perceive bono na obia bakunya no the tumrika no obia yes if and you lose away sometimes no work park no so na odious bono messi now expect to say no dia ko tumrika no akose no now
pressure na samba
o bolon wa no akose no na pressure na person o take odi ebufo kura ebufo na wo mu kura na fe de wo mu say affect your muscles na wakọ taki bi na praba nti ye style e pese e bono na no na say you materials na e wo no materials na e wo any styles na na say team na no player no perform or team no we expect say
obey the same thing
replicate the same thing we had no but materials na wo no na say we dey share system up so the bond the players na we use on that fairness and the match you're going to play.
Coach, when I Juma Pen, only part of Juma Pen or the national team, or a player, I bet me, I build a team around. Currently, is of course, the biggest player in our team. Yes. Can we build our team around him going to this World Cup? Or we do maybe a
Oh, of course. Let me say, yeah, one unkwa or say bonfire man in injury because we shall feature equally good. Or Mohamed Kudus, who is equal good. And maybe say in all, no, you have a very rich squad. If you say Jai Jumanoma technical team, they know what they are doing because the new ones are about with Salisu, with Tariq, with Inaki, and all these things. These are qualities are about adapt. And if you say you have a very good squad, it's a expectation, and I will say. But one of the teams are moving winning since I yoko on a bit winning. And you find game by game and then enjoy technical team. Now, so the movie say or move pes or moody ebano. They should bring it and then let's hope say Benya very good World Cup.
I mentioned the thought of Otekante on this one. Midfield combination idea you do come ABC party more 6, ABC man free row box to box, almost 10 on a babam pair. Kudus he cried and he a top or a yes or Baha, yes, as a striker. How do you manage all these expectations? Now, you're a coach, how do you also focus on objectives or work so set up a mouth knowing you're the best out of your players? But where are they?
Oh, what the answer? Mahuza, Emiliano, Emiliano, Ubia Qatar said, as he giant technical team. Fortunately for us, I'm saying that we have friendly matches, very important ones are very effective. Yeah, the last one, Switzerland. And the expectation be our own shape, I'm saying about during these two matches, maybe I create chances, and this way you say, exactly, especially when we met the Brazilians. You must have seen all these things. And you know, and I prayers so woman woman. It was a woman woman not here. Now, actually, almost so back we should be able to say, you say, it was better, and I say, it was better. But that should not be a problem. You might come once and be. But at the end of the day, no, as a technical team, no, a war better. I will be on no capacity, say, Tankui, or no minister or analyst, Precope, and so, or far video analyst in Yago. It is this is the time where, as I say, if you have a coaches, problems because one of which employ the video analysis services here in the night. I say we are not the visa money training. No much I share particular idea or I share. No much I say a quantity is necessary. Many a didn't come up to be very honest. And say your mom made a team home did it a man. Was the Bentino maybe our friend. A friend is I am Smith. Masuye me person me say timology ye be adia ya this me papa it also out e can tell kakache me mo ye ne mo zoom e yo mo ko ne players how they also sit down with the analyst no mo to meeting the requires mo to first especially mo ball Brazil in Nicaragua yeah omanya akonya so kokko be bia nzo mo hwe players individually. I know that they could or American. I don't know what exactly what it is to do or motivate. I can't wash it. The Yama Queniam, you won't be a better suggestion to be the Casa. I will be quiet and base please the bomb into I am to my. But journalism is more because I address it. Exactly. More addressing, more petty. And Cavi said they could and Cavi. And one said, you know, Macoya, not time or people as you said, the baby are more right, so you know, and more people as you making that for name me, yeah, preparation. And I see a young woman, my daddy can say, literally, with a party, a person over boy, a person be him or more effective. Yeah, friend war, the team war, Chelsea. His one will be very, very effective. You don't know any Burma coaches, or more actually, I should a omnia analysis, video analysis, a dear to no much only said that the finally, you make us say, or any master of the Andy with your guy, any like I share technical team, you know, or more anywhere, now break a castle in the and we wish you no my team. All the yet what do I want to say? See a ball with you. No, but you have to do it in training. All the time to catch no ocean team now please over to me a boss train. One corporate you gave a time your money to exercise Kakarabak. You who say it will work. That is exactly what we need to do. Your one break a crowd with you. You between and sign up for your first month 24 the qual account. No, if you are more Macoyana or more video analysis, they say maybe the man is almost yet setting on whatever decision that they are taking. One way any Acoya and 1 year. Now, one common remove, no more share in 3 sessions if it will work.
All right. Have an officer team will be to me a do at the World Cup.
If I don't say,
I have an officer team will be to me a do at the World Cup.
To say a very difficult one. One more approach in your more unicorn, and I hear discuss you know with me. The woman here I am what I can't get. But me give a CFC of what I am more a Switzerland match.
Okay.
We will be very bold enough. Some of us will be bold enough to be able to tell you. Me there I make a choice. Me nya konya ne do Germany team come up. But me choose they are saying my more. How much in the selection so yes 36 now at this time I think raise up a very important issue there. I'm the coach in why not doing why in the again there'll be no need to be a 36 now and also for a problem what I say we share antecedent we share history Maybe a prayer, maybe a category, maybe the other I enter one. Indeed, I didn't think I entered so. Now you know, and said indeed, I believe with the Emma you're more Switzerland match.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to tell you that BC and I
Me that's it. Me that's it. Coach David Duncan, wait a final question to you. Based on the over the weeks and days, you know, honest expectations. Any fan of a team way able to do at the World Cup?
Well, it's difficult to tell, but young game after game with every energy we can muster and now mobilize. We won't look beyond. We should not look beyond our nose. We have a first game to play,
Okay.
and then a second game. Let's take care of the first game, and then thereafter we will see where that takes the team. But the winning of the first game and now getting a very favorable result
Against Portugal onto the 4th.
Yeah, which is this should not get beaten. For me, I think a huge step, you know, towards perhaps having a good tournament, you know, and are doing well in the competition. But you see, what I want to emphasize on, seriously, and the fact is, look, the team must go out there and operate as a unit.
Okay.
Yeah. We should not be looking at
personal
a situation
glory.
today the number about Patino. If we are not careful, why single out Pate?
Okay.
Have we forgotten that Pate can also as well play as a defender?
Yeah.
Because way back in Atletico Madrid, he was featuring sometimes way back in defense. And let's leave that, like others have said, you know, upon your friends, speakers who spoke before me, Yenjama technical team, you know, normally a very good assessment of the entire team and find out where the strength of Pate can be best utilized for the team, just like all the other players. Because we are going to be operating as a unit. In Ethiopia, like I said, the key, you know, attributes of every player must be used to the utmost interest and good of the team. And then maybe we can be thinking about functioning in a manner, a Bema team that is so effective and perhaps even unbeatable. And all of this thing must start for me with the first game. A good result in the first game will make everything almost possible for us. But how far they are going to go, and they are a crystal ball, who just yet.
Interesting. Coach, where you bumpire how much? Yes, or bumpire how much? Yes, who will be. Coach Tanko, are we ready for the first game against Portugal on the 24th of this month? Is Ghana ready?
I mean, we should be ready. Let me say, it's a whole tournament in this nature. Now, by now, not 1 year ready. And then if you say 1 year away, but if you say, I mean, with the players I war and the technical team, I can't watch a minute now. If you say you're ready. But my advice back and I have to do with the additional staff. Most of the time, we qualified tournament. Because we have a video analyst, another account. Now have a friend is saying physical trainer account. Now 1 or 2 players in studio or fees you about. Into all these things, you know, at the end, you know, now Aquadani in some kind of saying some now be a way as 8 pointing the finger say I don't know we are allowed to say within a beba.
Professional treatment.
Yeah, that is I would say Shena say Benya one for all the team na Yakofanaba. And even video analyst, me my tournament twice they be settle between the new video analysts how buy any deal because at the end of the day no Yakofanaba was say and when Sophie say one Germany and you know and even the last one Cameroon Kurano, but why didn't have as a video analyst or end up park and so our training. as a coach.
Video
and you know all these things. If you say I would say settle and sign.
Ne obi a role, you specify man say we also here place no be at
yeah, and sign.
Fantastic.
And the main issue, African problem is Sikasem. I mean, I would say to me sort to all these things before say because the 2014 Ghana, you or Cameroon at that time, the same problem nearby. A day I was a report, you know, 1 day late because of Sika.
Wow.
And I would say, who say, no promises I bear my place, you know, I would say this. Say, be say, you are more Muko, and now my girlfriend's quiet. I would say, clear because I could 2 Brazil. 3 a.m. and up the next day, a bomb match, any place need to all discuss it because I promise you, almost say you are more wives. And yeah, no, you are more wives and now my girlfriends are about almost why be a day before the match, be and see Alex Song, Chef and Beer, and all these guys. So, we should a match, you know, Alex Song could red card. Yeah. Because concentration in Afro. It's now up to bed 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
No more negotiate with the players.
About their wives, about their promise or more and all these things. So if you say all the promises, you know, say, yeah, if you feel in our hands, and not team and your friend is saying, one more piece.
Whatever I put up, I want me, Coach Rush, no about your champion. So 30 seconds, I'll be able to do in the World Cup based on the strength of this team.
Oh, I believe the tournament didn't start here. Tournament didn't start here. Unim at all because your boy your first match as an album baby because say starting 11 crowd they start here e be o hanya mo apo na odbobo second match no so you lose first match no poa obey changes you might win the 2 FNSN no other matches and qualify until baby e be do there senior coach Duncan kan no ball no crystal ball no shed enhu ye
Emoikumu
FNSN kesera Spanish niveka the future is not for us to see. The future is not for us to see.
Your champion.
Yeah, I think most of the players still normal ball league games into. It say na obi player a prayer amount for a jubilate say player way there so prayer na
I don't know about this video
yes indeed so far as say your boy your league matches in there and the train na your boy your last match no na fe your 100% set na your core then you bet me aka the strength of your team because now no you any players they call you know what is going on indeed it make go drew how they are then a bit me fan one at a time. I say, and no bit me actually be bit me.
All right, ready? My main na a material my headphone na as my first like I say my HD Plus, Sukasa Properties, Achimota Mall, Liberty Industries, Fido Microcredit, and Kololo Impression. Say boy I made you about way the Happy FM Happy Sports Dialogue World Cup series no. And then as an outreach I have any the next week, we say share or Jumedia. So my first like I say, Emma Otia Kente, or former technical director of the Ghana Football Association, coach at the Mediama Football Club, coach David Duncan, I know assistant coach for the Black Stars, and a 23 head coach Ibrahim Tanko, also a former assistant coach of the Black Stars. Ya rush, ya prequel, Great Olympics, only a machine, Pinting Wonder Club, head coach, and I feel the kind of champion, and so on coach Elimina Sharks. I mean, senior former players of the senior national team, the Black Stars. And the Jumedi University that say Ufidi no Eda Honda happy 98.9 FM ETV Ghana. Bese share na twisene Kramunyina.